In the early hours of Monday morning, a DHL cargo plane unexpectedly fell short of the runway while on its approach to the Vilnius airport. One crew member was killed, 3, including the pilot, were injured. Now investigators are seeking answers as to why the plane crashed. The plane originated in Leipzig, Germany. In July, several fires broke out in warehouses there and in Birmingham, UK, from incendiary devices placed in parcels slated to be delivered by DHL. The Wall Street Journal reports that Western officials believe this was Russian sabotage intended to ignite fires on cargo planes bound for the U.S. and Canada. And now joining me to discuss this latest incident is former Lithuanian Deputy Foreign Minister Darius Jurgelevičius. Hello, sir. I hope I got your name correct, but thank you for joining us on TVP World tonight.
Very good evening.
So first of all, I'd like to just ask or state what could be the obvious. Is this a coincidence? We've just seen 2 Chinese ships damage underwater communications cables in the Baltic Sea on 2 separate occasions. Now this incident where investigators are still looking into the DHL fires in Leipzig and in the UK, but have yet to release their findings. What is the likelihood that this is a Russian attack?
You know, it's easy these days to speculate and always blame Russia for all these kind of things and tricks they're doing. But I want just to add one very peculiar detail about that Chinese ship that has been accused of damaging cables in Baltic Sea connecting Lithuania and Sweden. I don't know whether you have heard that the fact that the captain of that Chinese ship is a Russian citizen. So that is very important and kind of detail that could suggest a little bit more than just a Chinese ship itself. So when it comes to this very tragic accident that happened this morning in Vilnius, I guess you just rightly mentioned that there was an article in the Wall Street Journal earlier this month about those GRU plots to inside the planes bound to US and Canada. So surprisingly, this plane that was a DHL carrier also originated from Leipzig. And as at this moment, there's all kind of possible scenarios are on the table, including sabotage and terrorist act. Although our institutions left doors open for further communication and investigation, as this is the very initial stage of investigation of this accident.
Apparently, this 34-year-old Lithuanian pilot survived unscathed. I guess we still don't know what he's saying, what he's telling investigators. What is your estimate on when we're going to know some concrete information as to what is likely thought as to be the cause?
You know, there's taking into account that this is very kind of burning issue, and there's world attention is also on this matter. I guess our competent authorities will try to give more information as soon as it's going to be available, actually taking into account that certain information should be kept confident till the end of investigation. But it was reported that our law enforcement visited those 3 members of the crew in the hospital. One of them, the one Lithuanian national, is in the best condition. They've been asked just to provide a bit more of details. It was not a formal any legal act. And interesting fact, he said that at the time when the plane crashed, he was not in the cockpit, but inside the plane, and he saw any flame, nothing that could really cause this tragic event to happen.
Interesting, interesting. Well, now I'd like to put up a post on X by the Foreign Minister of Lithuania, Gabrielius Landsbergis, concerning these hybrid attacks. Let's take a look, see if we can put that up on the screen.
Why do we call it hybrid warfare? because if we called it terrorism, then we would have to do something about it.
Now, he also gave an interview to another TV station. This is about a month ago. A very interesting statement by the Lithuanian foreign minister saying that we are not calling a spade, but we're calling them hybrid attacks. If we look at all the incidences of fires and different things that have happened throughout Europe in multiple countries at this point, do you believe that Minister Landesbergis has a point, and that perhaps we need to change our approach as these incidents continue to mount?
I guess it's time for us really just to wake up. So it's been already 2 years since the beginning of war in Ukraine, although there was the first sign that we should really reconsider our security policies and approach towards Russia. It was 2014 when Russia occupied and annexed Crimea. So I guess these things like Minister Landsbergis is referring to are becoming more and more kind of common. And it's a kind of thing that Russia trying and testing our reaction, and taking into account that these things are not going to disappear without a trace, and Russia is going to use them more and more. I guess it's time for us just seriously to consider how should we really to address them. And in my opinion, it's time for us to start doing same things to them, as we see there's no any other way. How can we really cope with this threat that comes from Russia? We have to retaliate, let me put it this way, very bluntly.
Well, do you think that maybe perhaps because, the death toll is only one, 3 others are injured, and then you had a really close call with a building that the plane was about to hit or could have hit, but I guess was damaged by subsequent parts of the plane breaking apart. Had there been more victims, maybe would this be seen a little differently? Or are we just still waiting to at least know all the details?
You know, actually, thank God, no any more casualties resulted in that tragic event. So the building, the house, had 13 people, 2 of the children, and it happened that they managed to escape from burning house through window. Some of them really being almost naked, but they are intact. Only one of them really asked for some medical treatment, but 12 of them in a good shape. Actually, the saddest part is that the house that was hit by flame, and there's no longer fits for living. So there's another thing which is going to be an issue for our authorities, how really just to compensate and where to put those people where to live.
And finally, since we know that these DHL cargo planes were targeted, at least according to those reports by the Wall Street Journal, is this potentially maybe a wake-up call for Europe to start paying attention more to its cargo freight and these types of airplanes that could be a target for Moscow?
I guess it's time for us to consider in a much more broader way what's going on with Russia. And cargo planes is just one of those tools that Russia uses against NATO countries. And it's just one small piece of that kind of hybrid war that Russia waged against NATO. So it's a wake-up call, as I mentioned to you. We should have heard it in 2014. But I guess even now, it's not late for us really just to start to consider how should we really cope with this threat, and what kind of means we should really take, just in a way, how to retaliate Russia for all these actions.
Well, and how should we respond? We've got just about a minute left, but in your opinion, how should we respond to something like this if it is proved that Moscow is behind this?
First of all, let's establish the fact that Moscow is behind, which is likely to be the case. So I guess we have finally to realize that we cannot make any more statements whether we are really seriously concerned. We really want to see positive signs coming from Russia. We need to take actions, and I guess politicians know how to do it. I just a little bit sort of sad to understand that they are somehow thinking that they may still delay to take serious actions against Russia.
Okay, Darius Jurgelevičius, former Deputy Lithuanian Foreign Minister. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate your insight.
Thank you so much.
And that concludes this edition of World News Tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time. Good night.